Let's begin by offering our respects to ISKCON founder Acharya and our preeminent Shiksha Guru, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Taruvyascha Kripa Sindhu Vya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we welcome all of you to our weekly online Bhagavad Gita classes. Thank you very much for joining. We have with us here Auntie Nita, Karuna, Divya, Ritu Lalwani, Durga Prasad, my parents are there, Manju, Divina, Swapna, Aja, and Khushbu. We started with the last chapter, chapter 18, titled Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. So we discussed how this 18th chapter is only a summary of all that Krishna has spoken so far. So this chapter begins with Arjuna asking yet again, because he asked practically the same question in the beginning of chapter 3 and in the beginning of chapter 5. And he again asked this question in the beginning of chapter 18. What is the question? What is the difference? Or is there any difference at all? And if there is a difference, then what is the difference? No, he wants to know between two terms, Tyaga and Sannyas. So Krishna begins by giving the opinion of others initially, no? And he says that some learned men declare that all kinds of fruitive activities should be given up as faulty, yet others maintain that sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be abandoned. So there is a difference of opinion amongst the learned men. And finally, Krishna gives his judgment, his take on the subject matter, and he says that the acts of sacrifice, charity, and penances should not be given up. They must be performed. And why they should be performed is because they lead to purification. So therefore, one must never give up sacrifice, charity, and penances. But in what mood should these activities be performed? Krishna goes on to explain. So in what mood should they be performed? They should be performed without attachment, without any expectation of result, should be done as a matter of duty, Krishna is saying. So Krishna says that prescribed duties should never be renounced. Very, very important lesson. Spiritual life doesn't mean that we give up our prescribed duties. Spiritual life doesn't mean that we give up our duties. Whatever duty we have to perform, we have to perform. So prescribed duty should never be renounced, Krishna is saying. Then he goes on to explain renunciation in the three modes. No, renunciation in the mode of goodness, and then renunciation in the mode of he goes on to explain renunciation. Renunciation, the three modes: mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. No, and then he goes on to define who is an intelligent renouncer. So renunciation should be done with intelligence. Then Krishna goes on to explain here the 5 factors of action. So every activity involves 5 factors. It's not that I am the doer or I am the only doer or the living entity is the only one. So therefore one can proclaim that, take credit for anything good that's happening. Neither can one proclaim that God is responsible for my actions. So there are 5 factors of every action, Krishna says. So what are they? The place of action, the performer of the action, the senses, which are the instruments, then the endeavor to perform that action, and ultimately, of course, the super soul who has to sanction. So these are the 5 factors of action, Krishna says. So therefore, Krishna says one who thinks himself is as the only doer is not very intelligent. That comes out of false ego. And then finally, Krishna ended, we ended the previous class on this 18th shloka, where Krishna describes 6 factors. He explains knowledge, the object of knowledge, and the knower are as the 3 factors that motivate action. And then he explains 3 constituents of action. The 3 constituents of action are the senses, the work, and the doer. So on this note, we ended the previous class. Now, from the next verse, what Krishna will do is, he will reduce these 6 factors, knowledge, object of knowledge, knower, senses, work, and the doer. So these 6 factors, he reduces to 3. And he explains 3 out of these 6: knowledge, action, and performer of action. Jnana, karma, and karta. So he's going to explain jnana, karma, and karta in the 3 modes of material nature. This is what we are going to see coming next from verse 19 onwards. Who can read today?
Can I read, Mata?
Yes. I heard Devina first, so Devina will read today. Thank you, Devina. Okay, let's share the screen. Okay. So now, section 3 to section 8 of this chapter is a summary of the yoga ladder. So if you recall the yoga ladder, which we did quite some time back, we have Karma Kanda. Then above Karma Kanda, we had Karma Yoga. Now, Karma Yoga we saw of two kinds. What are they? Sakama and Nishkama.
Nishkama.
Yes, Sakama and Nishkama Karma Yoga. Then above Karma Yoga, we saw which yoga system?
Ashtanga Yoga.
Anybody remember?
Ashtanga Yoga.
What's that?
Ashtanga Yoga.
No, Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga. Then comes Dhyana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. And then highest of all is the Bhakti Yoga. This is in reverse order. We saw it in the other forms. So see here, just to refresh our memories, Yoga Ladder, Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means activities that are done for our own, to get something in return, to get our material desires fulfilled, but it is according to Shastra. Karma Yoga adds detachment to the Shastric injunctions. So one performs this not because one wants something in return. No, one is detached from the fruits of the action. Then Jnana Yoga adds knowledge to detachment. Dhyana Yoga adds meditation to knowledge, detachment, and Shastra. So here in Dhyana Yoga, that's why Dhyana Yoga is also called as Ashtanga Yoga. So the yogis go into deep meditation. And then Bhakti Yoga adds love, the love factor. So one performs all the activities out of unconditional love for the Lord. So the highest is Bhakti Yoga. And this is what has been stressed by Krishna throughout the Bhagavad Gita, and more specifically in the middle 6 chapters. So this is the yoga ladder. Okay. So in section 3, Krishna is going to focus on karma, and how he will explain how the modes control all the activities. So as I said, he will first explain those. He reduces those six. What do you call it? Those 6 factors that he mentioned in verse 18 to 3, and then he explains each of those 3 in the 3 modes of material nature. So what are they? Jnana, Karma, and Karta. And then he goes on to explain 3 more items in the 3 modes. What are they? Buddhi, Dhriti, and Sukha. The understanding of action, determination for the action, and happiness. So if you go to see, actually this is happiness is the last thing that he explains. And why do you think happiness is the last thing that Krishna explains amongst all these other important terms? Why happiness is the last?
Maybe after understanding all those things, we'll get happiness.
After understanding all these things, we'll get happiness. Okay. Very nice. Any other angle of vision? Ultimately, every living entity is looking out for what?
Happiness.
Ultimately, everybody is looking for happiness, whether one is a karmi or a jnani or a dhyani or a bhakti yogi, everyone is looking out for happiness. But where to look for that happiness is what we understand when we come to Krishna consciousness. No? So, for example, the karmis are looking for happiness, and they think that if they earn good money, they have good education, then they will be happy. The yogis, they are thinking that once I merge into the Supreme, then I will be happy. So where to really get eternal happiness is what we understand when we read Prabhupada's books, when we come to Krishna consciousness. So happiness is the last thing that Krishna is explaining here, because that's what ultimately everybody is looking for. Okay, let's hear the shloka.
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः प्रोच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने यथावच्छृणुतान्यपि.
According to the three different modes of material nature, there are three kinds of knowledge: action and performer of action. Now hear of them from me.
So, as we discussed, Krishna is going to now explain knowledge, knowledge, action, and performer of action in the three modes. So here he's giving us a preview of what he's going to explain next. So let's see what Krishna says.
सर्वभूतेषु येनैकं भावमव्ययमीक्षते अविभक्तं विभक्तेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि सात्विकम्.
That knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness.
So what knowledge is the mode of goodness? Knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities. So one sees the existence of the Paramatma in each and every living entity. So yes, the living entities are all different, but what is the common factor? That the Paramatma is residing in the heart of every living entity. So knowledge, this kind of knowledge, when we understand, when we see and understand and realize that the Paramatma is in the heart of every living entity, then that will lead to self-realization. Then automatically it will lead to to the understanding that how everyone is a part and parcel of the Lord, how the Lord is impartial, how the Lord is supremely merciful, and how we should serve the Lord. So knowledge by which we can understand that the super soul is residing in the heart of every living entity, that understanding is in the mode of goodness, Krishna says. See, example, cassata ice cream has different layers or different flavors, but it is considered to be one. In the same way, one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms. So yes, there is variety. There are different kinds of bodies. There are different kinds of living entities, but ultimately everyone is a part and parcel of Krishna. Everyone is a spirit soul, and everyone has the super soul residing in the body of each living entity.
पृथक्त्वेन तु यज्ञानं नानाभावान् पृथग्विधान् वेत्ति सर्वेषु भूतेषु तज्ज्ञानं विद्धि राजसम्.
That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body there is a different type of living entity, you should understand to be in the mode of passion.
So what is knowledge in the mode of passion? That knowledge by which one sees that in every different body, there is a different type of living entity, which means one is only in the bodily concept of life. There is no spiritual understanding, only material understanding. Only one is in the bodily concept of life. That knowledge, Krishna says, is to be understood in the mode of passion. There is no spiritual angle of vision in this kind of knowledge. Now we know that the hog eats indiscriminately, right? The hog even eats stool and thinks that this is great. So what is the correct understanding? Now, what is understanding the mode of passion and what is understanding the mode of goodness? Now, do we think, if we think that the hog is eating indiscriminately because it is in the body, that living entity is in the body of a hog, that is what? That is knowledge in the mode of goodness or in knowledge in the mode of passion?
It's the mode of passion.
Mode of passion, why?
Because he's eating all worms and everything.
So that knowledge, no, that say, if I look at a hog and say, this hog is eating stool, is eating indiscriminately because it is in the body of a hog, my understanding is material or my understanding is spiritual? is the hog eating stool, is that living entity eating stool because it is in the body of a pig? Is that consciousness of the living entity such that it is eating stool because it is in the body of a hog? Or is it that the consciousness is such of the living entity that it desires to eat indiscriminately, and that is the reason why it has got the body of a hog? Is the question clear? Okay, again, a living entity is in the body of a hog. Okay, now there are two understandings. The living entity is eating stool because he is in the body of a hog, therefore he has got that consciousness. And other understanding is a living entity has the consciousness of eating indiscriminately, therefore it has got the body of a hog, and therefore it is eating stool.
Eating
So
this
these are two different understandings.
eating discriminately, and then he has a body of the pig. Then when once he's inside the body of pig, he will act as though, because someone is
Exactly.
inside the body
Yes.
of dog.
Exactly. Yes. So the living entity has the consciousness of eating indiscriminately, and therefore now he has got the body of a hog, and therefore now in the body of the hog he is eating stool. So that is the spiritual angle of vision. That is knowledge in the mode of goodness. Now, because we are seeing from the spiritual angle of vision that he had this consciousness of eating indiscriminately, and therefore he got the body of a hog, and now in the body of the hog he is given that facility to eat indiscriminately each stool. No, but if we have to look at only from the material angle of vision, we only see the body. Okay, this living entity is in the body. He's in the body of the hog, and now he is eating stool. Now he is eating indiscriminately. So, but when we come to the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we understand that we have got these different bodies, or living entities have these different bodies because of the consciousness that they had before they got the body. Not that they are behaving, a dog barks because he had that consciousness before he got the body of the dog. Therefore, he got the body of the dog, and therefore now he is barking and behaving like a dog. Okay, now let us see knowledge in the mode of ignorance.
यत्तु कृत्स्नवदे कस्मिन् कार्ये सक्तमहैतुकम् अतत्त्वार्थवदल्पं च तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
and that knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager, is said to be in the mode of darkness.
Okay, Devina, you need to be a little louder, please, or you keep your mic closer to you. Okay, so what is knowledge in the mode of ignorance? Knowledge by which one is attached to one kind of work as the all in all, without knowledge of the truth, and which is very meager. So attached to one kind of work. So all that one focuses on is how can I eat better? How can I sleep better? How can I mate better? And how I can defend better. That's all. All that the living entity is concerned with is how I can gratify my senses. So that kind of knowledge is very meager, very narrow. No, you don't have a broad range of knowledge. So at least material knowledge, the previous one, there is a broad range. Here it is very meager. It is only reduced to what I can do to eat, sleep, mate, and defend better. That's all. That is knowledge in the mode of darkness. So people will say, no, who cares about karma? Who knows if there is going to be a next life? I don't know what the future will bring for me. Who knows whether all this shastra is true or false? Maybe some sage has just written it to suit their needs. Who cares? Now I'm enjoying. No, abhi maza aa raha hai na. I'm enjoying life. So that's all I care of. So that is knowledge in the mode of ignorance. So see, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, the knowledge of the common man is always in the mode of darkness or ignorance, because every living entity in conditional life is born into the mode of ignorance. So each living entity in the conditioned life is born into the mode of ignorance. This is the education that is given to us also generally, parents and teachers in the schools, colleges, they all tell us, okay, how you study well, you can get a good job, and your life is going you will be happy, you will be successful. So everybody is focusing only on how can I improve my materialistic condition of life, so that I can eat lavishly, I can live in a lavish house, have a lavish lifestyle. Everything is only focused on that. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is writing, that every living entity is born in a mode of ignorance in conditioned life. See this prayer. So what, which means agyana means ignorance, and timirandasya means darkness. So we are all born in this darkness, we are all born in this ignorance. And what does the Guru do? Jnananjana Shalakaya. He with the torchlight of knowledge, he's applying the ointment, the medicine tool, and he's opening our eyes. Chakshur unmilitam yena. So he opens our eyes with the torch of knowledge. So unto that personality, yena tasmai shri, gurave namaha, unto that personality, that Guru, the spiritual master, I offer my respectful obeisances. So this is what the shloka means. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So living entities are born in the darkest ignorance. This is what Prabhupada is saying, that every living entity in conditioned life is born into the mode of ignorance. So who opens our eyes, who applies that ointment for us, who gives us that medicinal tool? It is the spiritual master. Therefore, the spiritual master should be worshipped. Shastra says that the Guru should be worshipped as good as God. The Guru never says that he is God. No, a bona fide spiritual master will never say that he is God. He'll always say that he's a servant of God. But the disciple should worship the Guru as good as God. See, Prabhupada writes in the purport, one who does not develop knowledge through the authorities or scriptural injunctions has knowledge that is limited to the body. He is not concerned about acting in terms of directions of scripture. For him, God is money, and knowledge means the satisfaction of bodily demands. This is modern civilization. Everything is money. Why? I want more money. I want to eat better, sleep better, mate better, and defend better. See, knowledge concerning the spirit soul beyond this body is called knowledge in the mode of goodness. So knowledge concerning the spirit soul is in the mode of goodness. It is self-illuminating and leads one to the science of self-realization. So here the endeavor is for the eternal, because the knowledge is concerning the spirit soul, which is eternal. Now, knowledge in the mode of passion is materialistic. So this knowledge produces theories and doctrines by dint of mundane logic and mental speculation. That knowledge is in the mode of passion. This is materialistic in nature and leads one to theorize and doctrinate. So you bring in your own rules and regulations according to what suits you, not according to what is written in the Shastra. So here the endeavor is for the temporary. But in the mode of ignorance, knowledge concerned only with keeping the body comfortable is said to be the mode of ignorance. Leads to utilizing the body as a tool for sense enjoyment. This is conducive for laziness. In this case, there is no endeavor at all. So sattvic means, in the mode of goodness means you see spirit beyond the matter. Mode of passion means you see matter as everything. And tamasic means you see a part of matter as everything. Now, Krishna will explain action in the three modes.
Niyatam sangarahitam aragadveshatah kritam afalaprepsuna karma.
That action which is regulated and which is performed without attachment, without love or hatred, and without desire for fruitive results is said to be in the mode of goodness.
So what is action in the mode of goodness? What is karma in the mode of goodness, which is regulated? So regulated means regulated according to what? According to who decides those regulations?
The Shastras.
The Shastras, yes. So, yes, we cannot invent our own rules and regulations. So, action which is regulated by Shastra, which is performed without attachment. So, it has to be performed without any desire for our own sense gratification or not be attached to the fruits of the action. It should be done only to please the Lord. No action which is done only to please the Lord without any attachment to the results, without love or hatred. So, one is equipoised without desire for fruitive results. That karma, that action is in the mode of goodness. Now let us see what is action in the mode of passion.
यत्तु कामेप्सुना कर्म साहङ्कारेण वा पुनः क्रियते बहुलायासं तद्राजसमुदाहृतम्.
But action performed with great effort by one seeking to gratify his desires and enacted from a sense of false ego is called action in the mode of passion.
So action in the mode of passion is what? It is performed with great effort. So a lot of effort is put in, but to gratify one's own desires out of a sense of false ego. So what is that false ego? That I am the controller. No, we don't accept that one is subordinate to the Lord. One is on the bodily concept of life. It's I, me, myself. No, so action which is done with a lot of effort, but to satisfy one's own desires and from a sense of false ego, that is action in the mode of passion, Krishna is saying. Now let us see what is action in the mode of ignorance.
अनुबन्धं क्षयं हिंसाम् अनपेक्ष च पौरुषम् मोहादारभ्यते कर्म यत्तत्तामसमुच्यते.
That action performed an illusion in disregard of scriptural injunctions and without concern for future bondage or for violence or distress caused to others is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
So action in the mode of ignorance, it is performed in illusion without any regard for Shastra, without concern for future bondage. So one is not concerned that, okay, if I perform this action which is against Shastra, if it is sinful activity, then I will be bound again in this material world. Again, I will be stuck here in the cycle of birth and death. So one does not have any concern that I will be bound by these actions or for violence or distress caused to others. See, usually whenever actions are done against the Shastras, it will cause distress, inconvenience, violence to the others. But such people, they are not concerned that I may be causing inconvenience to others or I may be engaging in some violent acts which is not conducive for peaceful living in the society. So all these actions, Krishna says, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Now he is going to talk about the karta in the three modes.
मुक्त संगो नहं वादी धृत्युत्साह समन्वितः सिद्ध्य सिद्ध्योर्निर्विकारः कर्ता सात्विक उच्यते.
One who performs his duty without association of modes of material nature, without false ego, with great determination and enthusiasm, and without wavering in success or failure, is said to be a worker in the mode of goodness.
So who is with the modes of material nature? So such a person, he may be living in the material world, but he is beyond the three modes. So he performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature, without false ego. So he is on the spiritual platform. He's not on the bodily concept with great determination and enthusiasm without failure. So it doesn't matter. He doesn't get hassled if there is failure, or he doesn't get overexcited when there is success. So he's equipoised. So such a worker, Krishna says, is a worker in the mode of goodness. Now, worker in the mode of passion.
रागी कर्मफलप्रेप्सुर् लुब्धो हिंसात्मको शुचिः हर्षशोकान्वितः कर्ता राजसः परिकीर्तितः.
The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy these fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion.
So the worker who is attached to work and the fruits of the work. So he's attached to both the work as well as the results that the work is going to give him. He wants to enjoy the fruits of his labor himself. He doesn't want to give it to Krishna. So he desires to enjoy the fruits of his labor. He is greedy. He wants more and more and more. He is not satisfied by what he is getting in return. He is envious. He is envious of what. So he is envious of others. He is impure. Impure. He is not concerned about whether, let's say, his income has been earned by honest means or by dishonest means. No. So impure. And moved by joy and sorrow. So yes, he is not equipoised. He is the opposite of the worker in the mode of goodness. Now he does get affected by joy and sorrow. So such a person, such a worker, Krishna says, is a worker in the mode of passion. So previously, see, the worker in the mode of goodness has no interaction with matter. So here Krishna says, a worker in the mode of goodness performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature. So this person has no association with matter. In the mode of passion, he has a frantic association with matter, because see, he is attached to the work, to the fruits. He enjoys, he wants to enjoy the fruits. He is greedy. He is moved by joy and sorrow. He is envious, impure. So he has a frantic interaction with matter, a worker in the mode of passion. Now let us see a worker in the mode of ignorance.
अयुक्तः प्राकृतस्तब्धः शठो नैष्कृतिकोलसः विषादी दीर्घसूत्री च कर्ता तामस उच्यते.
The worker who is always engaged in work against the injunctions of the scripture, who is materialistic, obstinate, cheating, and expert in insulting others, and who is lazy, always morose, and procrastinating, is said to be a worker in the mode of ignorance.
So worker in the mode of ignorance is one who is engaged in work against the injunctions of the scriptures. So he does not follow the Shastra. He doesn't care for the Shastras. He is completely materialistic in his mindset, obstinate, stubborn. You cannot convince such people. Cheating and expert in insulting others. So they don't care about hurting somebody else. No, it's I, me, myself. That's their center of their lives. Cheating and expert in insulting others. Who is lazy, always morose, always in like to play the victim card, and they like to attract the pity of the others, and they want to show themselves as the victims. So this is that category of people. They are always morose, always morose. They like to attract the pity of others. But a devotee is never, you will never see a devotee who's morose or sad. A devotee, even though he may be facing adversities, he is always in a happy state of mind, because he is always connected to Krishna. He's always connected to the spiritual. So yes, a worker who's in the mode of ignorance, he is always morose and procrastinating, always postponing. I will do it later, tomorrow, next month, next year, 10 years. Actually, that time never comes. So people who like to postpone things, who procrastinate, they are in the mode of ignorance, Krishna is saying. See here, Krishna says that such a worker, they work against the injunctions of the scriptures. So see here, Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the scriptural injunctions, we find what sort of work should be performed and what sort of work should not be performed. Those who do not care for those injunctions engage in work not to be done, and such persons are generally materialistic. They work according to the modes of nature, not according to the injunctions of the scripture. So such people, they are not following what the scripture says. They work according to the modes of nature. So if one is under the influence of the mode of ignorance, then he is going to act and do those activities which are in the mode of ignorance. But even though one may say, I don't care for the Shastras, it doesn't matter to me, I am not afraid, or whatever it is, whatever they say, they have to bear the consequences of their actions. That no one can escape. So, see some of the results of acting against the scriptures. Now, this person here is posing on a magazine cover with little or no clothing. So, as a result of that, in the next life, she has got the body of a tree. This is the karmic reaction for that. Because trees are in full public view without any clothing on them. No, but the difference is now nobody is interested to give them a second look also. So the Shastric, the karmic reaction for overexposure or exposure is that you get the body of a tree. Here, this person is eating indiscriminately. He's eating meat. A human body, human life is not meant for eating meat, no. Human life means we have to eat Krishna Prasad, remnants of the food that is offered to the Lord with love. So as a result, because this person is engaged in meat eating, next life he gets the body of a tiger, where yes, he can eat meat. You don't need a human body. If your consciousness is that I want to enjoy meat eating, you get the body of a tiger, where you can enjoy eating meat. This person loves to sleep. So now, because this person is spending his life in sleeping, next life he's got the body of a polar bear. You can sleep for several months together. Here, excessive eating. He's eating a lot, eating indiscriminately. So next body, he's getting the body of a hog, where he can eat excessively and eat indiscriminately and enjoy that in the body of a hog. So although one may say, I don't care for Shastras, the karmic reaction will definitely come. You cannot escape that. Now coming to procrastination. This is a very nice article by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He writes, the mind is a perpetual procrastinator. It postpones our resolutions to some day, then some decade, and then some other lifetime. If we look back at our lives and think of a good habit that we could have cultivated years ago, we often notice how our mind made us put it off for one day. And that one day became 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 1 decade. If we keep listening to our mind, we will keep delaying for our entire lifetime, maybe even several lifetimes. Pertinently, the Bhagavad Gita cautions against the perpetual procrastination that characterizes those who function in ignorance. If we want our life to improve, we need to reject the mind's procrastinating rationalizations and reject them now. Even if that rejection takes the form of just one baby step, that is enough. The key is not how much distance we cover, but how much resistance we muster against our mind. So the mind is always going to tell us, don't take to the right path. The mind is always going to distract us from the right path and take us to the wrong path. No, and so we say, no, let's say somebody wants to give up smoking or drinking or meat eating. So the mind says, okay, not now. Initially we will think, okay, I'm still young. No, this can be done in old age. This can be done later. So then when one is old, one may think that, oh, why I cannot give it up now? No, because it is already formed a habit. So it will never happen. The mind is always going to take us away from doing the right thing. So what we have to do, we have to use our intelligence. We have to reject the mind's procrastinating rationalizations. We have to use our because intelligence is higher than the mind. So we use our intelligence and we control the mind. We use our intelligence to take the right decisions. We should not procrastinate, postpone. One of these days is none of these days. Later. No, I will do it later. That later will never come. The time is now. So here, the 3 types of doers as we discussed, the sattvic people, they have a balanced, regulated interaction with matter so as to eventually go beyond matter to spirit. The Rajasic people, they have a frantic interaction with matter. So sattvic, actually, Krishna says that they are, let's go back to that, 26. See, one performs his duty without association with the modes of material nature. And here we say that they have a balanced, regulated interaction with matter, only that much, how much we have to do our material duties if one is situated in the material world. So and then eventually they will go beyond matter to spirit. Rajasic, they have a frantic interaction with matter, and Tamasic, they don't interact with even matter properly. Even that they are not able to properly do. Inability to interact properly even with matter, Tamasic people. Now let us see Buddhi in the three modes.
बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथक्त्वेन धनञ्जय.
O winner of wealth, now please listen as I tell you in detail of the different kinds of understanding and determination according to the three modes of material nature.
Okay, so this again is a preview of what Krishna is going to explain next. Here he's just saying that now you listen as I tell you the different kinds of understanding and determination. So now he's going to give understanding and determination in the three modes. So let us see understanding in the mode of goodness.
प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी.
O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows that what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness.
So understanding the mode of goodness, Krishna says, now see, he's using these words here, pravrittim and nivrittim. Pravrittim and nivrittim means what is your inclination to do? Karya and akarya. Then Krishna says karya and akarya. What should be done and what should not be done. So how do you know what should be done and what should not be done? Again, according to the injunctions of the Shastra. From Shastra, we know what we should do, what is karya. And from Shastra, we know what is akarya. Then Krishna says bhaya and abhaya. What kind of activities will give you fearlessness? Abhaya, and what should be feared. When the activities are according to the injunctions of the Shastra, then one should not fear. No, one should not fear to engage in those activities. If the activities are not Shastric, then one has to be fearful. Then bandham and moksham. So again, what kind of activities should be done? Should be those activities which are according to the injunction of Shastra should be done. That should not cause any fear in our hearts. Because why it should not cause any fear in the hearts? Because it will lead to moksham. It will lead to moksham. Otherwise, if it is not according to injunction of Shastra, we have to fear them because it will lead to bondage, bandham. So, O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. Of course, when we understand what should be done, then that is the activity that should not be feared because that will lead to liberation. But those when one understands what should not be done, because if one does what should not be done according to Shastra, then those activities should be feared. Why they should be feared is because it will lead to bondage. So here Krishna uses 4 binaries. See, there is a difference between intellect and intelligence. Intellect has got to do with memorization, analyzation, the ability to verbalize many facts and be able to speak it. For example, I may read a 20-page report on the harmful effects of smoking. And if I'm able to remember what I have learned and also speak it to somebody else, that means one has a good intellect. But such a person may not necessarily be able to actually quit smoking himself because he has good intellect. For one to be able to give up that smoking, one requires intelligence. So one needs to make a decision. So the decision making capacity has got to do with intelligence. See here, intellect. Example, some people can memorize, analyze, and verbalize many facts about the harms of smoking, yet they struggle to let go of the cigarettes. Intelligence, decision-making capacity. Some people may not remember even a single medical fact about the harms of smoking, yet they desist from it without much struggle. So what do we require is intelligence, not so much the intellect. But again, now the modern education system is based on intellect, no? How much we can memorize what we have learned, analyze them, and again verbalize them, how to put it out in the exams, write it out in the exams. But it's not helping us to develop our intelligence. These are two different things. Now, understanding in the mode of passion.
यया धर्ममधर्मं च कार्यं च कार्यमेव च अयथावत् प्रजानाति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ राजसी.
O son of Pritha, that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action that should be done and action that should not be done, is in the mode of passion.
So that understanding which cannot distinguish between religion and irreligion, so this is the opposite of the previous one, between action that should be done and should not be done, that is in the mode of passion. So here the activities are not based on Shastra, not based on what should be done and what should not be done. It's only based on some other trivial factors. For example, just feeling. Today I feel like eating meat. Today I feel like smoking a cigarette. Or probably based on some tradition that has been followed in the family. No, it's our family tradition to get together once a month and play cards together, something like that. So it's when activities are based on those understandings, or those things that are not based on Shastra, not based on action which should be done and should not be done, that is understanding in the mode of passion. Now let us say understanding the mode of ignorance.
अधर्मं धर्ममिति या मन्यते तमसावृता सर्वार्थान् विपरीतांश्च बुद्धिः सा पार्थ तामसी.
That understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness and strives always in the wrong direction, O Partha, is in the mode of ignorance.
So understanding which considers irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion. So this is even more dangerous. Previously in the mode of passion, the understanding is I don't know what is right and I don't know what is wrong. But understanding the mode of ignorance is I think what is right to be wrong and I think what is wrong to be right. So that is even more dangerous. For example, to think of an ordinary man as God and to think of God as an ordinary living entity. So that is very, very dangerous. So previous understanding, one may say, okay, I don't know who is God. I don't know what is God. But here one declares an ordinary man to be God and declares God to be an ordinary living entity. To declare a sinful activity as something that can be done and to declare something that can be done as a sinful activity. No. So this is understanding in the mode of ignorance, considering irreligion to be religion and religion to be irreligion under the spell of illusion and darkness, and strives always in the wrong direction because this is always going to take you away from the actual goal of human life. That Krishna says is understanding the mode of ignorance. See, jnana versus buddhi. Jnana has got to do with how we see the world. Buddhi has got to do with the action. How are we going to act according to how we choose the right things to do. So jnana, sattvic jnana means you see spirit, you see from the spiritual angle of vision, and sattvic buddhi means you do those actions which will connect us to the spiritual. So jnana is theoretical. and buddhi is practical application of that jnana. If you read these shlokas again, when I share the slides, then you can see how when Krishna explains knowledge, it has got to do with how one sees, what is the, how we perceive things, how one sees the things, see here. But buddhi has got to do with how one acts. So here Krishna is talking, first of all, he's giving the theoretical knowledge, and here it is the application of that knowledge. Now, determination.
धृत्या यया धारयते मनः प्राणेन्द्रियक्रियाः योगेनाव्यभिचारिण्या धृतिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी.
O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses, is determination is in the mode of goodness.
So after Krishna gives us theoretical knowledge of what should be right and what is right and what is wrong, and then we have to apply that knowledge using our buddhi, using our intelligence. Now, for that application of the knowledge, as we're applying the knowledge, what do we need? We need determination to remain on the right path, because it's going to take time, and it's a lifetime process. Actually, it's not that. See, surrendering to Krishna is not okay, today I make a decision and now I am surrendered. No, it's a whole lifetime process. We have to sustain it through years and years of sadhana till our last breath. So that we need determination in three modes. What is he saying? Determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice. So sadhana should be unbreakable. Not that today I chant 16 rounds, tomorrow I chant 0 rounds, day after tomorrow I chant 5 rounds. No, unbreakable every single day. 16 rounds, minimum 16 rounds, and 4 regulative principles. So determination which is unbreakable, which is sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice. Now, yoga just means to connect with the Lord, So when we do sadhana, when we chant the holy name, automatically we are connecting to the Lord, that which controls the activities of the mind, life, and senses. So, of course, when we engage in activities that connect us to the Lord, then automatically our mind, our life, our senses, everything can be controlled. So that determination, Krishna says, is in the mode of goodness. Now, mode of passion.
यया तु धर्मकामार्थान् धृत्या धारयते अर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी धृतिः सा पार्थ
But
राजसी.
that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic and development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion. O Arjuna.
So in determination, the nature of passion is what that one is holding on. There is determination, but for what? Only for dharma, artha, kama. Dharma means here, religion means what? Material religiosity. Material religiosity. What is material religiosity? Karma kanda. What is karma kanda? When we engage in religious practices, but expect something in return. Okay, I will feed 100 brahmanas, but I want that my son should get a seat in the medical college. Something like that. So that determination is only for dharma, artha, kama. Material religiosity, economic development. I want to be economically very, very advanced, and sense gratification. I want to be able to enjoy myself. So determination for these three factors. That determination, Krishna says, is in the mode of passion. Now, determination of mode of ignorance.
यया स्वप्नं भयं शोकं विषादं मदमेव च न विमुञ्चति दुर्मेधा धृतिः सा पार्थ तामसी.
And that determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion, such unintelligent determination, O son of Pritha, is in the mode of darkness.
That determination which cannot go beyond dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. Such unintelligent determination, Krishna is saying, is in the mode of darkness. So, as we discussed previously, a devotee is always, not a devotee, a non-devotee is lamenting, he's morose, no, he likes to get self-pity. So, again, the same thing, determination, which is in these qualities, dreaming, fearfulness, lamentation, moroseness, and illusion. That is unintelligent determination, Krishna is saying. And that such kind of a determination is in the mode of ignorance or the mode of darkness. So this article, you can read, very nice article by Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. You can read it when I share the slides in the group. So what is the Jnana, Buddhi, Dhriti connection? So Krishna first spoke Jnana in the three modes, then Buddhi, understanding in the three modes, and Dhriti or determination in the three modes. So see here, Jnana in the three modes, that knowledge by which one undivided spiritual nature is seen in all the living entities, though they are divided into innumerable forms, you should understand to be in the mode of goodness. So that knowledge which is spiritual in nature, Krishna says, is the mode of goodness. Then in 18.30, he said, O son of Pritha, that understanding by which one knows what should be done, what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is to be feared and what is not to be feared, what is binding and what is liberating, is in the mode of goodness. So you know what has to be done and what should not be done. When you have that understanding, then that is understanding in the mode of goodness. Then determination. O son of Pritha, that determination which is unbreakable. So it has to be satatam, constant, no? Unbreakable. So when the determination is unbreakable, sustained with steadfastness by yoga practice, and which thus controls the activities of the mind, life and senses, is determination in the mode of goodness. So Sattvic Jnana, we see the spirit. So he sees, no? He sees the undivided spiritual nature in all the living entities. So Sattvic Jnana, one sees the spirit. In Sattvic Buddhi, one knows what actions will connect us with the spirit, what ought to be done and what ought to be done and what ought not to be done. So the Sattvic Buddhi tells us which actions will connect us with the spirit. And Sattvic Dhriti helps us to do those actions, regulate contact with matter and sustain contact with the spirit. So determination to do those actions is Sattvic Dhriti. So this is the connection between Jnana, Buddhi and Dhriti, which Krishna has explained in sequence. Now he will explain the three kinds of happiness.
Sukham tvidanim trividham shrunu me bharatarshava abhyasadramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati.
O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress.
So Krishna says that now he is going to explain the three kinds of happiness. Now we will see happiness in the three modes of material nature. See, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, a conditioned soul tries to enjoy material happiness again and again. Thus he chewing the chewed. But sometimes in the course of such enjoyment, he becomes relieved from material entanglement by association with the great soul. In other words, a conditioned soul is always engaged in some type of sense gratification. But when he understands by good association that it is only a repetition of the same thing, and he is awakened to his real Krishna consciousness, he is sometimes relieved from such repetitive so-called happiness. So this what Prabhupada is writing, chewing the chewed. This is actually spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. No, Prahlad Maharaj. See, he says, and this was from Bhagavatam, Sri Prahlada Uvacha, no? Prahlad Maharaj has spoken this verse. He says, Puna punas charavita charvananam. Puna punas, again and again. What are we doing again and again? Charavita charvananam. We are chewing the chewed. So if we have a sugar cane, and we chew the sugarcane, we get some juice. But we've already chewed, no, and extracted the juice from it. Now we try to chew the chewed sugarcane. Are you going to get any happiness, any juice from it?
No.
You will not get any more juice because you've already chewed the sugarcane. So material happiness is like that, chewing the chewed. We have already passed through these different bodies and we've already tried to enjoy in these different bodies. And yet again, we are trying to enjoy once again in the current body. So it is nothing but chewing the chewed. Even
Chewed.
after crossing through so many millions of bodies, we don't realize that we are not going to get any happiness. So that cycle of chewing the chewed again and again, puna punas charavita charvananam, can be you can overcome that when you come in association with a great soul. Srila Prabhupada is saying. So devotee association can give us relief from that material entanglement, give us relief from chewing the chewed. Okay, so let us see what is happiness in the mode of goodness.
यत्तदग्रे विषमिव परिणामे मृतोपमम् तत्सुखं सात्विकं प्रोक्तम् आत्मबुद्धिप्रसादजम्.
That which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness.
So happiness in the mode of goodness is what? It may appear like poison in the beginning, but at the end it is like nectar. So when we start off our spiritual life, when we start off with our chanting, our sadhana, our four regular principles, it may appear like poison in the beginning because it is not easy. It is not easy to give up bad habits, something that we are carrying from so many lifetimes, no, that consciousness we have from so many lifetimes. So in the beginning, it may appear like poison, but at the end, it is just like nectar. At the end, it is definitely going to give us happiness and joy. See, when we enter a room that is dirty and dusty, and we take a broom and we start cleaning that dirty room, initially what happens, that dust is, and it may cause some allergic reactions, no, our eyes may start watering, we may start sneezing. But then what do? We continue to clean the room, and at the end definitely we will have a clean, nice, spick and span room. So that cleaning process, initially it may be like poison, but at the end it is nectar, because now you have a very nice clean room in which you can reside. So bhakti also is like that. It may appear like poison in the beginning, but at the end it will definitely bring nectar. If you want to dig gold, if you want to extract gold from the, you have got gold in your hands, isn't it? So bhakti is exactly like that. In the beginning it may be troublesome, but definitely it will end in nectar. So that Krishna says is the happiness in the mode of goodness. Now let us see happiness in the mode of passion.
विषयेन्द्रियसंयोगात् यत्तदग्रे मृतोपमम् परिणामे विषमिव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्.
That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, is said to be of the nature of passion.
So happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their sense objects. So here you have the five senses: nose, eyes, ears, tongue, and skin. And the sense objects are form, sound, taste, touch, and smell. So for example, when the tongue comes in touch with the taste, so the senses are coming in touch with the sense objects, there is some pleasure that is derived, no? Or the skin is coming in touch with another object, one is deriving some pleasure. Say there is a man and woman, there is initial attraction, then they think everything is great, no, I want to live with you for the rest of my life and several lifetimes, and then they get married, and then what happens later? There are fights, there is misunderstandings, and there are compromises that one has to make. So happiness, which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first and then poison at the end. Because what happens is, initially it is great, one thinks that one is enjoying, no, meat eating or illicit sex, or gambling or any sinful activity, it appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end. In the end, it is only pain that Maya is going to bring. Why? Because then the karmic reactions are going to come. Then that is going to keep us bound in this material life over and over and over again. So happiness, which appears like nectar at first, but poison at the end, Krishna says, is happiness in the mode of passion. So here, the example. It appears like nectar at first, but then poison at the end. See here, we'll see a video. I'm sorry. So here you see, it appears like poison in the beginning. So initially, when we take to spiritual life, it may be a struggle. No, we may struggle with our sadhana, but ultimately, there is going to be enjoyment. It will be nectar in the end. But materialistic life is what enjoy now. Yes, it's a nice ride, but then again, it will be a struggle. It will be a great struggle for us to reach the destination of human life or the goal of human life. So when we want to struggle, you want to struggle now and enjoy later, or you want to enjoy now and struggle for life later?
The beginning. Struggle in
We
the
must.
beginning.
Struggle we have to do. That we have to do. We cannot escape struggle. Either we regret now. We see there are two kinds of pains. No, one is the pain of discipline, and the other is the pain of regret. So which of the two pains we want to take, that we have to decide. Pain of discipline. If we choose the pain of discipline, then we are here. We are struggling now because we have to follow a certain discipline. But later we can enjoy. Later there will be no regret. Here if we say, I don't want any discipline in my life, I want to do what I like to do. So you enjoy, but later there will be the pain of regret. Pain of regret. So one of the two pains we have to take, either the pain of struggle, either the pain of regret, or the pain of discipline. Which of the two pains, that we have to decide. But of course, Krishna recommends that we should use our intelligence. Okay, now happiness in the mode of ignorance.
यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्थं तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance.
So here there is no pleasure at all. In mode of goodness, there may be poison in the beginning and then nectar in the end. And the opposite of that was the mode of passion, no? Nectar in the beginning, but poison at the end. And here there is no nectar at all. So that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, no? So here the person does not know only, does not act, does not know how to act. There is only sleep, and there is only illusion, and there is only ignorance. So which is in delusion from beginning to the end, which arises from sleep, laziness, and illusion. That happiness, Krishna says, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. The last verse for the day.
न तदस्ति पृथिव्यां वा दिवि देवेषु वा पुनः स्यात् त्रिभिर्गुणैः.
There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems, which is freed from the three modes born of material nature.
So Krishna is summarizing this section where he's explained these concepts in the three modes by saying how the influence of these three modes are there in all the planetary systems, no, whether one is in the higher, lower, or middle, everywhere these modes are going to exist. So Krishna is saying there is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is free from these three modes born of material nature. So doesn't matter whether you're in the earthly planets or the lower planets or the higher planetary systems, everyone is under the influence of the modes of material nature, Krishna is saying. So in the next class, if Krishna so sanctions, we will progress from Sakama to Nishkama Karma Yoga in the yoga ladder. Do we have any questions or comments?
When will we get the questions for chapter 18?
Let me see.
Because I'm traveling next month.
You're traveling, is it? So the question paper is scheduled to be put
Today?
13th October, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow they will. It will be shared in the group.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
To be submit when?
Okay. So the last day for submission will be 1 second. (29th October).
Oh God. Okay.
When are you traveling?
I'm going to Bias actually. I'll be back 20th.
20th. 28th or 20th?
20.
Then you have time. No, even after you return, you have 9 days to submit.
Yeah, still.
Okay. So you don't have internet access there?
No. No mobile, no nothing, Bias.
So and when do you leave?
First week of next month.
Okay. So you can work on it.
This week.
You have, yeah.
This
and
week.
then when you return again, you have 9 days. Yeah, that is sufficient time.
Yes.
I'm sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
18th chapter exam is due on 29th of November. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But it will be put up tomorrow on formatives.
Okay. Thank you.
It's not yet there. It's not yet available. Okay. Any other questions or comments?
See,
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. My question was that as it was mentioned that what your desire is in this life, you will be born, you will be reborn with the same desire that you wanted, right? But then
Yes.
again, that is connected with karma of this life, to be reborn in that life.
Yes. What you do in this life determines your next birth. Your current birth is because what you did in the past. And what you do now determines your next birth, your next body.
So that means this is connected, because what my desire is in this birth, I will get it in my next birth. So that desire is la karma that I'm doing, right? To have that desire.
Yes. You may get it in next birth or you may get it in this birth also. Karma can be given to you in this birth also, in the next birth also, or even in the next million lifetimes also. But what is your greatest desire? No, your burning desire, your consciousness at the time. What is what determines the body that you're going to get. Karmic reaction can come in the next lifetime or in this lifetime, even in the next millions of lifetimes. It's a part of your karmic reaction only, the body that you get. But the number one thing that is on your consciousness at the time of death determines the body that you are going to get in the next lifetime.
So this desire is only the last moment of our life, right? Which will give us the
Whole life.
Yes, it's your moment of death determines your last thoughts at the time of death determine the next body. But again, one should not think that, okay, I will do whatever I want, and at the end, I will think of God. It will not happen, because by default, that only comes to your mind what you have practiced throughout a lifetime. It happens by default.
Correct.
So if you're most attached to, let's say you're most attached to your son at the time of your departure, and you're thinking of your son, then you may come back somewhere, and you may be born around your son, but may not be necessarily as your son's son or daughter. You may be as a pet in that house, or maybe an ant who's in that same house where your son is living, which is not desirable, right? So what you're most attached to, that by default comes to your mind at the time of death. So if we practice bhakti throughout our lifetime, then the consciousness of Krishna will come to our mind at the time of death by default.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you know the story, Bina Mataji? You know the story of Bharat Maharaj?
No.
So,
Can you just relate it
Bharat
shortly?
Maharaj, he was the king of the entire planet. No, our country is called Bharat because of him, Bharat Maharaj. And then he retired. He went to the forest. He was practicing his sadhana. But it so happened that he saw, when he went to have a bath in the river, he saw a mother deer giving birth. And that mother deer, just when she was giving birth, she heard a lion and she was afraid and she died. And then Bharat Maharaj in the forest, who was practicing renunciation, he started to take care of that deer which is just born. No, and it so happened that so far it was good that he had compassion for the deer in the forest. But then what happened was, the thought of the deer was on his mind, and whenever he was doing his spiritual practices, religious practices in the forest, his mind was wandering to the deer. Is the deer safe? Will the deer be eaten by any wild animal? Where has the deer gone? No, so his thoughts, so he became so attached to the deer that it so happened that when death came, he was thinking about the deer. Who will take care of the deer after I am gone? So that is very dangerous. So because he was on his consciousness, he had the deer, although he's in the forest, no, completely disconnected from family life, but still the thought of the deer was on his mind, because he was taking care of the deer during his years in that forest. So that is what came to his mind. So what we do throughout our lifetime is what comes to our mind at the time of death. And there is a very nice verse where Krishna says that if due to bodily disturbances, my devotee cannot chant my name, my devotee cannot remember me, Krishna says, I will remember that devotee. So even if we cannot remember him because of some bodily disturbances at the time of death, or maybe, for whatever reason, then Krishna will not forget that, but Baba, throughout the lifetime, this person has engaged in bhakti. So even if we forget, Krishna will remember and he will take us back.
I think I've heard
Okay.
this. I've heard the story of it. That means when somebody has a pet in the house, they get so attached to the pet, no, giving them even maybe non-veg food. Because I have a friend, she's a vegetarian, but she has dogs which are ill and which are suffering from something. She has started looking after that dog when they were not well with some reason, or they were just abandoned on the road. So she has adopted them, and she gives them even meat, knowing that, because she's vegetarian, but she gives them meat and she gives them all the attention. But she runs from everywhere saying, no, it's their meal time. I have to give them their medicine. So that attachment is there.
Yes, yes.
So,
and she's taking the karmic reaction to feed them.
Right.
See, I will show you one karmic quote. Let me share my screen once again. See, this is what happens when we don't know the Shastra. See, she's feeding the meat, so she's killing one animal to feed another animal. Is that logical?
No.
See here. See, Srimad Bhagavatam. he who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats such cooked animal are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. So your friend who is a vegetarian herself, so although she is not eating, but because she is feeding, she is administering the distribution of the foodstuff. She is giving permission, no? And I don't know if she is cooking or she is buying the ready-made food for her pet dogs, but she is equally punishable by the law of nature. So even though she is not cooking, because she is giving it to her dog, she is considered to be a meat eater. This is what Shastra says.
Okay. Right, as the intelligent, the intelligence a person has, the intellect the person has, and then the intelligence that they use is different, right?
Right. Yes. So we should not be intellectual, we should be intelligent. Or we can be intellectual, no problem being intellectual, but we should always use our intelligence.
So that means the seva she's doing for the animals who are sick or who's, taken from the roadside, and she's looking after them and giving them the best possible. So that does not compensate with the karma she's doing with attachment and giving them non-veg food, right?
Yes.
No. She will have to suffer karma.
Sorry, your voice was...
Giving it to the dogs, she will have to.
You again cut, you did cut off.
Yeah, Mataji, can you repeat that, please?
Is she there?
Yeah. What I said was, even though she is a vegetarian, but because she is feeding the dogs, she has to take the karmic reaction. And she is equal to a meat eater.
Oh.
See, just like if there is a murder, a murder has taken place, one who actually pulls the trigger of the gun and shoots the bullet is a murderer. But anybody who is a part of that murder, let's say somebody has transported the dead body from the site of the murder to the wherever they want to dispose the body, one who has planned the murder, one who has purchased the gun for that, one who has purchased a murder weapon, they are all liable for punishment by the law, is it not?
Yeah.
Will the police say only the person who has pulled the trigger is going to be hanged? No, everybody who is a part of that plan to commit that murder, they are all liable for punishment. So the same thing is happening here. They are all a part of the conspiracy. So he who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, and at last he who eats. They are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the law of nature. So compassion to the animals also should be done with intelligence. See, as I said in the previous class, dogs, I think Aja had asked that question, whether we should have pets. See, dogs and cats and all these animals, for millions of years, they have survived on their own in the forest, have they not?
Yeah.
Why do we have to bring them to our homes?
Not only that, the one which we are bringing is nowadays it's different breeds, right? They do, I don't know whether that is also against the nature, right?
Different breeds of dogs?
To domesticate, yeah, different kind of. It's not the original. It's not the original one. I know some dogs they die very fast. There are different type of dogs.
No, but
Means
whatever breed the dog may be in, they are not supposed to be inside our apartments.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I understand.
All the animals should be in their natural habitat. All the animals should be in their natural habitat. The only animal that should be domesticated is the cow. Because if the cow lives in the forest on its own, the cow will not survive. Because the cow gives excess milk, more than what the calf can drink. if it is not extracted from the cow, then the udders of the cow will pain and ultimately the cow will die. So the cow cannot survive in the forest. That's why cow is one Shastric injunction is that cow can be domesticated. So previously, every home, they would have their home, they would have a small plot of land and they would have at least one cow. So that from that one cow, they would get so much excess milk because one cow on one pregnancy can give milk up to 8 years, 8 years. So with that milk, there would be so much surplus milk that the family would not be able to consume. And they would even give away, donate. There would be so much opulence that they would donate liters and liters of milk. And with that milk, they would make so many wonderful products, milk, ghee, butter. So many sweets can be made. So many things can be made with that milk. And with that small plot of land, they would grow their own fruits, they grow their own vegetables, and they were living a very happy, content life. But now in Kali Yuga, what has happened? We are sending the cows to the slaughterhouse. The cows, we are slicing. When the cow is old and cannot give any more milk, then that cow is sent to the slaughterhouse. And then we are bringing dogs to our homes and we are feeding the dogs cow's meat. All life we are drinking cow's milk, right? And then because this food, the dog food that you get in the supermarkets in bags, it contains cow's flesh. So we are slicing the throat of cow, who is one of our 7 mothers. Vedic injunction says that we have 7 mothers. And cow is one of the 7 mothers because we drink cow's milk. So we are slicing the throat of our mother and we are feeding it to the dogs. That's what is happening in Kali Yuga.
But this friend of mine she has 2 dogs and they have some health issue. So she takes them to the best veterinarian, and gives them the best treatment that she can, goes through operations and, every regular checkups. So much so that she even sleeps with the dog on the floor when he's operated and things like that. So like she feels that, she's not abandoning the dog because he has health issues. So she's doing her maximum, to look after him till his end. So
I think there
there
are good karmas and bad karmas. Maybe she gets some good karmas at the same time.
That's what I think too.
Yeah. So when you weigh the bad karmas more effective.
Right.
Yeah, see, now that the dogs are already under her shelter, she cannot abandon the dogs because she is already giving them shelter. So once somebody has taken your shelter, then you cannot abandon them. So let her take care of the dogs, but try to give the dogs prasad. Don't give the dogs meat. Give them prasad. There are devotees who feed prasadam to the dogs.
Right.
So she can continue to take care of the dogs. Don't abandon the dogs. But once the dogs give up the body, let's not bring more dogs to the house. Because animals should be in their natural habitat. That is Shastric injunctions. So if anybody has pets, okay, now because already you're giving them shelter, continue to give them shelter, but don't give them meat because then you will be implicated. You are part of the conspiracy. You are part of the crime. And Yamaraj is not going to excuse us because we gave meat to the dogs. He is not interested in hearing that excuse. Yamaraj is not going to give us, he's not going to make an exception to the rule for us. Certainly not.
Right. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Mataji, I want to know, you were just explaining about Bharata, who was the ruler of the planet, right? I always get confused with the Bharata from Treta Yuga. Can you explain who is this Bharata?
Bharata from Treta Yuga is a different, that is brother of Lord Ram, you're saying, from Treta Yuga.
So this Bharata, who is, his lineage, can you please explain, do you know?
Oh, lineage, I don't know by memory. I will share it in the group. Okay, but the whole pastime is there at the Bhagavatam. I will share it in the group. But I don't know his lineage by memory, but what I know is he had 3 lifetimes as Bharat Maharaj. Then as Bharat Maharaj, when he took renunciation, he thought of the deer and he was born as a deer. But in the body of the deer, he was able to remember his past life. So because he did a lot of sadhana, he was given the facility to remember his previous birth. So in the body of the deer, he remembered his previous birth. And then in the deer's body, he died in the right consciousness. And therefore, from the deer's body, again, he got a human body immediately without having to transmigrate through other bodies. And then in the third lifetime, he was called as Jada Bharata. Jada Bharata. So now as Jada Bharata, again, he remembered his previous 2 lifetimes. He was given that facility because of his sadhana. He remembered his previous 2 lifetimes. And then as Jada Bharata, he always acted as a madman because he didn't want to get materially entangled. Now he had learned his lesson. He didn't want to get materially entangled. So he would always act as a madman. But then eventually there is this incident where the king Rahuguna, he was passing by, and for his palanquin they had 3 palanquin carriers and they wanted one more. So they told Jadabharata to be the 4th palanquin carrier. And as he was carrying the palanquin, there were ants on the ground, and he was jumping to avoid stepping on the ants and killing the ants. No, so the palanquin of the king was not having a smooth ride on the palanquin because Jadabharata was jumping, and then the king chastised him and said that you're a fool and don't you understand and you should walk straight and this and that. And then there's a conversation between King Rahuguna and Jadabharata where Jadabharata is speaking the highest transcendental truths from the Shastra. And then it is revealed that he's not an ordinary man and he's very learned. No, so, but his lineage, I don't remember. But yes, in the third birth, he was called as Jadabharata. I will share it in the group post.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
How to obtain Dhriti stage, Mataji?
Practice, practice, practice. No, the more you do, you use your intelligence, you put into practice. Take one day at a time. Don't procrastinate. Prabhupada said that drink, 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 and you become a drunkard. So chant, 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 and you'll become a perfect chanter. So that determination comes with. It's a day-to-day, everyday process using your intelligence. Just do it.
Okay, Mataji.
And again, devotee association. If you associate with devotees who are going to help you overcome the obstacles. So again, the ABCD association books, chanting, and eat the right kind of food, remain sattvic in your mentality because your food determines what. So when you have your ABCD, association books, chanting, and your diet, sattvic diet, then that will lead to purification. It will lead to determination.
Okay,
All
Mataji.
the how to do this, how to do that, there is only one standard answer. These 4 things will help you advance in every aspect of your spiritual life.
Yeah.
Anything else? All right, then, since there are no more questions or comments, we'll end here. I hope you have a nice weekend. Krishna consciousness. Wednesday, the month of Kartik starts. No, the month of Damodar. I hope you have seen. If you have not seen the class on the Damodar Leela, which we did previously, please watch the class, and there you have all details of how to follow the month and why to follow the month and what is the Leela associated with the month. Please make sure you do light the ghee lamps. Please, 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 please do not miss this opportunity. It is the time of the year when for very little service one can reap great benefits. We cannot even imagine how much we will be benefited by simply lighting ghee lamps, singing the Damodar Ashtakam, worshipping Lord Damodar, and chant as many rounds as you can. Maximize your spiritual practices, minimize sinful activities. And yes, offering ghee lamps to Lord Damodar, singing the Damodar Ashtakam, very, very crucial during this month of Damodar. So Wednesday is the first day of the month of Damodar. So I request you to please follow this month of Damodar sincerely. Don't miss even a single day. So determination, no? Determination is very, very important. Satatam, constantly, every single day of the month, please do make sure you offer your ghee lamps to Lord Damodar and be unlimitedly blessed. Till then, have a nice week in Krishna consciousness. Yes, Ekadasi Manju is tomorrow. Tomorrow for us here in Chile. Tomorrow is Ekadasi. Okay, then, have a nice week in Krishna consciousness. Vancha kalpa taruvyascha, kripa sindhu vyaivacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagawad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Kajal.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.